what are economic or financial benefits of implementing circular economy concept that could encourage mainly private sector organizations, which certainly are key actors in the supply chain, to be heavily involved in the circular economy?
Okay, well, triple bottom line, people, profit, planet. There's no people or profit without planet. So that would be my simplistic. There is economics advantage in it, because at the moment we're taking stuff out the ground and we're making something and then we're throwing it away. And there's little value in that. A lot of our case studies have talked about the value they deliver to their community. And so, we're people, we're not cogs in an economic machine. So for me, the economic argument and the social argument hugely outweigh the current system. But from the panel?
I know you had lots of examples from non-profits. So you might argue that they're not for profit, therefore they have the luxury of embedding these ideas. But in fact, what we've seen is that they are able to operate and provide their social and provide benefits to the communities and the environment by actually implementing circularity. So they can exist without making lots of money and continue to do so. So I think there is somewhat an economic argument in that it's working, because actually it saves them on expenses. It allows them to run this. They work with other organizations to make it happen. If it were operating in a normal way, they would exist probably for a day, but they've existed for years. And I think that the coffee roaster was a powerful example of how they're doing this and actually bringing economic advantage to other organizations beyond Welsh borders. So this is quite powerful. So I think that works. Yes, there's no, we have to change our sort of business models. I think that's going to happen. Circularity, or sort of the lack of resources, is going to force companies to think about circularity, because they know they won't be able to operate. They won't be able to make any money on it, because there will be nothing to make money off in the first place. So I think there will be kind of savings when organizations start seeing there's a saving on that. But Adele's got example from all companies, how they see that.
Well, so the oil spill mats, there's no manufacture costs apart from labour. It just all the hair gets sent to me for free. You might have also seen the other case study on the Green Salon Collective. They actually charge their hair salons to take the waste for them. But I literally get all of the product for free, and then it is just time and labour costs of manufacturing it. So all those companies that are spending money manufacturing polypropylene and all that, they could just be using this hair that people happily donate, and there's masses of.
I think when you get, it's very difficult. If you start seeing the world through the lens of a circular economy, all you can see is opportunities everywhere, and they're all business opportunities, all revenue opportunities. Because when you start looking at the circular economy and you start looking at the systems approach to the challenges in front of you, you can only see multiple revenue opportunities, multiple revenue and value opportunities. And so the challenge you have is to try control the level of enthusiasm and passion you have to do things differently. But I think there's no end with a circular economy. There's no landfill, so there is no end. So you can start to look at regeneration, restorative approaches. Like there's no reason why the mats couldn't come back and be a second life or a second iteration or a second value stream. There's no reason why the horse bedding or the animal bedding can't come back and be composted to be something else, and then something else and something else. So there's always opportunities. There's multiple opportunities when you look at things within the lens of a circular economy. If you're purely looking at linear approaches, you're squeezing the life out of your supply chain. You're squeezing the life out of your own business, because you're trying to just get the last little scraping of value, of revenue from whatever is around you. Whereas circular economy, it liberates your mind for a start. It doesn't help you sleep at night because there's too much going on, but it does liberate your mind in terms of the opportunities that are around you. So there's, in my view, the economic aspects are as important, if not more important, than the environmental and social, because the environmental and social will happen anyway.
Yeah, I think if you go and look at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation websites, there's loads and loads of examples of very discerning investors, major private sector organisations that are buying in to long-term buying into this use of multiple use of raw materials. So it's a very rational economic decision by them, but it also links to what has just been said on the panel, that it actually is a reflection of their alignment with the whole notion of circular economy, values, philosophies, and engagement. So they'll go with it.
Okay, I'd like to bring in Martin, if I may.
Brilliant. Just a couple of simple, small examples of how the circular economy efforts that we're doing here and some of the projects we're working on are having an impact economically, not for us in the first instance. There's a big push at the moment around profitability in the business. You know, business is commercial, they need to make money. And there's a key focus in all departments now to look at circularity. So to look at the reuse of items, but also to bring down the silos, talk cross-departmentally and see if items from one department that we've looked upon as potentially waste could be something new in another department. And we've got lots of examples of that going on here at the moment. So that saves us money. That's good for the bottom line. But also then in the local foundational economy and the local non-profit organisations locally that work with us with our items that we don't seem to be able to find a use for within the business are always offered before they're sent to be recycled. Nothing goes to landfill. Before it gets sent to be recycled, we always talk to our partners in the local community. We've got a whole range of community partners, and they get access to all of these items, and they will either repair or upcycle them, or they may have a direct use for them. That generates work, meaningful work in the community, sometimes for those that are unpaid, but also some of the work that we do, particularly around the sofa work that we do. It creates paid work as well for some of these workers that are working in the community supported positions as well, and the sale of these items that we've donated then generates income for those charities as well, which also goes on to support more jobs. So there really is, you know, by being circular, you don't have to buy something because you've already got it. So that saves you the cost of buying something else. And that's the value, I think, of circular economy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Martin. I'm very conscious of time. The economists in the room would tell you that currently greenhouse gas emissions, are an externality. In other words, they're not costed in. Yeah. And that's quite, you know, it's crass not to cost in the damage we're having to the environment, to the planet. So they need to be internalised, and I would argue for a carbon tax to be introduced as soon as possible. We've got one more question.